Where am I at? I'm at the old Northgate Mall, where Malaholic did about a year ago. Uh, he touched on some of the facts and information about this place, but what he didn't know was yes, he's correct that this was a Ventures at one time and everything, but what he doesn't know was before it was Ventures or K's Merchandise was that it was also up until 1978 a turnstile, which eventually then went to close down, went out of business in 1978, and the other location here in Decatur, Illinois was Turnstile in Fairview Plaza. And when that closed down in 1978, Ventures then moved into this location and was in business until 1998, and then closed down and everything. And I believe by early 2000s, I think it was when K's Merchandise moved from downtown Decatur, where its original location was at, to move here into the old Ventures location, and that's where it's at now. This was a very small mall. It wasn't very big and everything, and just like you go into Adventures and you can enter the small mall where Schnucks wound up moving into the location and everything. Then let's see, right here was the entry point when Schnucks built on or when they added Schnucks in the late 90s, because they basically moved out. Let's see, the General Cinema movie theater used to be here, and it was a 3-screen movie theater that opened up in 1978. And where I'm at now, there used to be an entrance right there to go into the mall, the little mall that was there. And when Schnucks moved in, they basically closed off, sealed it off and everything. There used to be the Northgate Mall barber shop inside there. They closed down, and they wound up moving right across the street on 51 there to the other side and everything. And this was the entryway to go into the movie theater. Plus, if you went into Ventures and you wanted to go to the movies, you can walk in just like the mall. They would have entryway, and you couldn't go to the mall inside that way as well. Then you had a hobby shop, which had RC cars, anything like boats, airplanes, and other things for a hobby. I remember they had a book emporium, which was a bookstore basically that sold newspapers and magazines, books, cards, whenever, birthdays, whatever kind of celebration. And at one point they did have a mom and pop video store here before Hollywood Video moved in and everything. And let's see, there was a Rent-A-Center here, and at one time where the church is at now, at the other end, that was where Julasco was, a small little grocery store. There was an arcade inside here. I think there was an ice cream shop, but I basically, when I came here, I went to the movies, and that was about it. And it was about the mid 90s when General Cinema closed shop, and then AMC or GKC moved into the location because they had the movie theater out at Hickory Point Mall, which I'm gonna hit on the history of that movie theater that Malaholic from up north touched on, but he didn't know the complete history of that either, like I know, because I grew up in Decatur, Illinois here and everything. And then Schnucks wound up moving right over here, which I thought was insane and everything. To me, if I was Schnucks, I would have moved out south, or South Shores here in Decatur, because all they have is a Kroger over there, and they could have wiped out that small little Kroger there rather than move here and everything. But plus, I mean, it was crazy to have a Schnucks right here, and right across the street in Brentwood Village is the Kroger's, which has been there for, now it's, I believe, over 50 years now and everything. And then we're heading toward where Rent-A-Center used to be and all that. I'm surprised some other movie theater didn't move into Decatur. Population back in the early 80s was over 100,000 people. When I graduated from Eisenhower High School in 1992, the population was down to over 93,000. And now it's just roughly over, I believe, 75,000 people that live here. That's the Discover Church. I guess it moved into where Schnucks, or I mean not Schnucks, Joel Osco used to be. And then when Joel Osco moved out, they moved in a Office Max or Office Depot or something like that. It was right across the street where the old Showbiz Pizza place used to be. And now that Showbiz, now it's a Play It Again Sports, I believe. But there's that, and then that's pretty much, because when General Cinema opened up here, it was a 3-screen movie theater, and we still had, at the time in the early 80s, 1-screen movie theaters. Like the Lincoln Movie Theater was still open downtown in Decatur, showing movies. I remember going to see The Empire Strikes Back at that movie theater. Then the Avon was still open and in use, because I went and saw E.T. when that came out when I was 10 years old back in 1982. And then I also remember the Rogers. Plus, we had a couple drive-in movie theaters in Decatur. Now we're down to one movie theater, and the only one that's left is the old AMC, or AMC, which is in Mount Zion, because the one at Hickory Point Mall that closed down 3 years ago and everything, right after the coronavirus and everything. But you could tell right there where the entryway used to be to get it, to walk straight ahead, and you'd go right into the movie theater, GNC, and there they just built a wall up, closed it off so that you could still gain entry right there with the doorway. But that was the old entrance right there. Anytime, because I came and saw Freddy's Dead in 1991 when it was released with my best friend and everything. And then I saw when The Crow came out in 1993 with Brandon Lee. I went and saw The Crows, saw tons of movies here, whether it was action, comedy, drama, you name it, I saw it right here. That's if AMC didn't get it first, because AMC opened up in December of 1982. But yeah, this is the old Turnstile, Ventures, and K's Merchandise, which K's, I believe, closed down. I was in the Navy at the time, on active duty, stationed at Great Lakes, when K's Merchandise moved from its original location downtown in Decatur to here and everything. Then you got, right at the end, right there, is where Hollywood Video moved into. And before that was Hollywood Video, that was a Team Electronics, which I always remember going into that store as well, which was pretty popular to do in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, because everybody wound up buying better car audio systems for their cars, you know, and put subwoofers and speakers inside their cars and everything. But I guess in the early 90s they put Hollywood Video here, and then it wound up becoming a Spirit Halloween a few times when I moved back to Decatur in 2009. Now I live in Champaign, Illinois. I no longer live in Decatur. But that's Hollywood Video there. And they didn't leave nothing left of the place, as you could tell. But this is going to become, I guess, city. What I'm surprised is Target, you know, on 51 heading toward Hickory Point Mall or Forsyth, Illinois. There used to be Mountain Middle School, and they tore that down to put Target there, and it's a little strip mall. I'm surprised they didn't move Target into here to revitalize Northgate Mall. They could have sold the space where Schnucks is at to a movie theater, or maybe an individual that loves movies and everything, and they could have revitalized the mall, but they didn't want to do that. So now this, I believe, is going to become, for the youth or teenagers, a mental health hospital and everything. So it's a little crazy to see this gonna be gone, you know, and something else put in its place. But City of Decatur didn't think about it, you know. They don't want competition. I did searching online, and the only movie theater now that we have in town is AMC, which is over in between Decatur and Mount Zion. And that, I mean, Avon was open up until January of this year, and sadly Skip Houston passed away, which owned the movie theater, the old Avon and everything. And Now we're down to one movie theater in Decatur, Illinois, which is truly sad. I mean, we had a population of over 100,000 in the early 80s, and now it's down to 73,000 and everything. So a little bit nuts, but that's Decatur for you, you know. I mean, I've seen a lot of things come and go from Decatur and all that, so that's what I'm reporting from this. Thank you.